Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video in English, the first video for 2025. And as the topic says, this is how to file your income tax return and claim the rent tax credit. I did this video last year in Spanish and lots of people were asking me to do it in English. I know this will help a lot more. So uh, hopefully it will help you. So let's begin. The first thing you need to do is search for My Account Revenue on Google or your favorite browser. This will open My Account on Revenue. Then you log in, writing your PPS number, your date of birth, and password. This will open the main menu, and you will click in the PAYE services, the second title, which is review your tax for the previous 4 years. As I mentioned in the previous video, you can actually do this for the previous 4 years. And this help was introduced in 2022. So you can also claim the rent tax credit for 22, 23, and 24 if you haven't done it now. And yeah, the second subtitle will open this menu, which is then you can select the tax year. So for this video, we'll do 2024. It's important to mention that the rent tax credit for the last year was €1,000, so it's actually a really good help. Then you select and you will complete the income tax return. Then you have your preliminary. You can see how much was your income and if it's balanced. Also, when people doesn't have the tax balance, is very good to do this income tax return. Also, like it's not only for the rent tax credit. So it will be done in 5 steps. I will explain each step, so you follow me. The first one is your personal details. This is straightforward because it's already saved on your account in Revenue. So it's your PPS number, the date of birth, the same ones you use to log in, then your civil status, if you're single, married, if this change during 2024, we are doing the income tax for 2024, and how many dependent children you have. Then it's also asking you for more personal details, your residency status. Everyone in Ireland is resident. And then this is the funny one, ordinary resident. You are only ordinary resident in Ireland after being resident at least 3 years. It means like if you arrived in 2021 or before, you were resident for 3 years, and then the 4th year, 2024, you will be ordinary resident. So it's like 3 years you are resident, and then you become ordinary resident. Actually, this doesn't really affect your tax return, but wherever you see this sign, the red one, it's mandatory, so you need to fill it. Most of the people doesn't understand what's ordinary resident if you're already clicking resident here. So the rule 3 years resident, then you become ordinary resident. If not, it's okay, like won't affect your return at all. So, and then the other question is if you're domiciled in Ireland, basically if you're Irish, and if you're not, then you just click no and move on. Then we are still with the contact details. Your address is important to keep Revenue updated with your most current address. Then your phone number, your Irish phone number, your email address, and this is very important, your bank details, because if you're claiming the rent tax credit or another credit, it will appear to this bank account. So it's very important that you verify the IBAN and the PIC. And that's it for the personal details. So that was the first step, actually. The next one is the PAYE income. So it will appear all the employments you had in 2024. and you will only confirm that. If you are self-employed, it's a different um, approach. I can show in a different video if you want how to do it if you are self-employed. You can do it by your own as well. You don't need any accountancy firm. When you're self-employed, it's better if you have one, but if you already have knowledge and experience doing this, like there is no issue. And like for yourself, if you're just employed, this is straightforward. Like I know some accountancy firms, they charge fees for doing this, but actually the rent tax credit is for everyone. So you should have all your help in your account. So you shouldn't pay any fees for that. The third step is the non-PAYE income. So all the income that is not related to your employment, you could have different kind of dividends, foreign income, other. If you expand all of these, you will see the options available. Then the fourth step, and the most important for our tax return, is the tax credits and relief. So here you will click you and your family, and it will open this tab, the rent tax credit. That's the one that we are going to focus on this video, and I will show you how to claim it. The requirements are that you must be registered in RTB. The contract with the landlord should be registered with RTB, or you should be in a license agreement, like the rent a room relief, for example. I will show you when we get to that stage. So the first, it's also 5 sections. So the first section is the form, if it's for yourself or if you're doing it for your children. I know lots of parents rent a room for their college students, for their college children when they are studying abroad. I mean, but in Ireland, for example, you live in Dublin, but you send your son to study in Galway, you can claim this rent tax credit as well. There are other requirements, but you can still do it. So that's important. So actually we'll do it for ourselves if we don't have any children. Then we click next, and we are still in the first section. Uh, it just asks you if you are receiving any help or state housing support schemes. If you are, actually this credit is not for you, but if you're not, you click no, and we just continue. And then this is kind of confusing. You need to confirm that the landlord is not a government minister or any of these official authorities. And you confirm that he's not by saying yes. I know it's kind of confusing, so I confirm that the landlord is not government ministry. Yes, you confirm that. So we just click next. Now we are in section 2. It asks you again for your PPS number. You're the tenant here, so your PPS number again. And now it's asking you if the properties are to be registered. Some of them are. In the contract, you can find the RTB number, because if you click yes, it's going to ask you for the number afterwards. But if no, we can go for the license agreement. Remember, those are like the requirements. RTB register or the license agreement, like it says here, rent a room scheme. And if you are not any of those two, actually, I'm sorry, but this help is not for you. If you click no, then it will appear the message that is saying it's not for you. But if you're in a license agreement, then you click yes and we continue. And it's asking you if you're related to the landlord. Most of the people we are not related, like it's not a family member, so we can just say no and continue. We're still in the section 2. Is the property your principal private residency? So yes, like it's the place you live. So actually you will click yes. And here you will put the date of when your tenancy started. So if it started before 2024, you can put it. If you're still living there, like here you can put today's date or any date in the future if you are in a year contract or whatever. So, and many people were asking me here, what happens if I moved in 2024? So let's say you moved in March. You will put the tenancy that lasted longer during the 2024. So if you moved in March, you will put the tenancy that started actually in April or whatever date in March started and to today's date, or if it finished in 2024, but should be the longest period or the longest tenancy you had in 2024. Doesn't matter if it's less than the 12 months. Actually, the help is because you paid rent, doesn't need to live the whole year in the same tenancy, so that's okay. And then here it will calculate the duration of your lease. Now the section 3, it will ask you for the property details, the address of the property, if it's an apartment, which number is it, the air code is very important because in a building, different apartments have different air codes in the same building. So it's important that you put the air code, it's mandatory, and the LPT, local property tax ID. And this is not mandatory. If you don't know, it's okay. We can just pass to that question. Then this is important. The landlords or the agent details. So the address, if the landlord lives in the same house, normally that's the rent a room scheme. If it's different, then you put the address as well for the landlord, if it's resident or no resident in Ireland, and then the PPS number or the TRN for the agencies. Now this is the mandatory field. To whom you paid your rent during 2024. So who received your payments? The agency, the landlord, you need to put the name, or if it's an agency, the name of the agency and the total amount. Remember, I was saying that probably you moved in March, doesn't matter. You put all the rent you paid from March to December 2024, all the rent you paid in that tenancy in 2024. So it says here, it will be the 20% of the maximum of 5,000. Most of the people will pay more than 5,000 during a year because rents are like, let's say, between 500, 1,000. It could go above that. But let's say you pay a monthly rent of 1,000. You lived in the tenancy at least 6 months, so you already paid like 6,000. Is more than 5,000, and the help is the 20% of the of 5,000 or less. So if you paid more rent, actually you will receive 1,000 to your bank account. That could take 5 to 10 working days. If you are to be registered or have the license agreement, it's important I mentioned that. But like most of the people will pay more than 5,000 in rent for a year. So for 2024, so that's okay. Just pay the amount you paid for rent, and that's it. Here it will appear the gross relief and the tax credit. Then finally, you will click to your tax credit. All of us have this personal tax credit, and everyone who is employed have this employee tax credit. So you will click to both, and then you will have this rent tax credit. It's not that you will receive the 5,000, you will receive actually the 20% of this. So it will come 1,000 to your bank account if you like if you fulfill the requirements. And then this is very important. This is a declaration. So you're declaring that actually what you are saying here is true, and revenue could ask you for the information afterwards. So some people are claiming this, and probably they don't have the requirements, and revenue will ask you probably in a year time for the contract, and you will need to pay back this money if you receive it and you were not supposed to. So it's very important that you take this seriously. Like if you have the requirements, then you click this box, go next, receive your help, and that's it. But if not, like just be honest. Just be as honest as you can. So that will be my last advice. When you click this box and put next, is hold on. So you will receive an email confirmation, and then if you have the requirements, you will probably receive the help in 5 or 10 working days in the bank account register. Don't forget, you can do this for the last 4 years. So don't worry if you haven't done it before, you can still claim it. Um, yeah, hope this video helped you. And if you have any question, you can put it in the comments, or if you have any suggestion for the next videos about taxes. This was the first one in English. So if you want more like this, you can put it in the comments. Otherwise, my YouTube channel was in Spanish, but yeah, like for the general topics, I can do it in English. I know will help more people. So that will be all for now. Hope you like it and see you in the next video. Bye.